Hi, my name is Sheridan Custis, and today I will be presenting How does generational trauma impact POC communities' mental health as they transition from youth to adulthood? So, first, we must define generational trauma. So, generational trauma is a psychological distress that is passed through generations as a result of historical or cultural experiences. So, the common trend that I notice is that the effects of generational trauma have had negative impacts on us, people of color communities, and those within ours or other cultural communities. So, just as a little introduction, individuals of cultural backgrounds specifically have rich history, which sadly and oftentimes includes traumatic events. The negative impact on individuals of this trauma is often due to a lack of resources, knowledge, and opportunity to improve. So, this unaddressed trauma creates generational trauma, which is passed throughout the generation as time goes on. Generational trauma has proven to cause poor mental health in teens from people of color communities and cause difficulty in their lives as they get older. So when we leave trauma unaddressed, it becomes a cycle. So in this image, you can see the grandma pass down her trauma to her daughter, which becomes the mother of a granddaughter, and she will then pass that on to her kids if the cycle continues. So, to come up with an effective conclusion, research was conducted in order to provide accurate solutions and further analysis of the issue at hand. So, I created a questionnaire with 10 questions containing both free response and multiple choice. Two of the questions required a personal response from participants, while the others required them to reflect on their emotions and their experiences during the upbringing. Here are a few of the findings on the site. So I observed that 80% of participants in the study were from communities of color, which was my target audience. And addressing these issues required increased awareness, access to culturally competent care, and effects to reduce stigma to better support these affected by PTSD, related conditions, or generational trauma. These findings were as a result of the responses that I got from the questionnaire. And that's kind of what I summed it up into by answering the question, how does generational trauma affect teens? And these were a few of the common things that I noticed. So, in conclusion, the findings highlight the profound effects that generational trauma has on teenagers' well being and self perception. It emphasizes the urgent need for intervention in order to break this cycle. So, in doing so, I aim to bring attention to these critical issues by advocating proactive measures to prevent the transmission of the trauma to future generations. So, all people of color participants reported a common sentiment of that guilt that they felt from their parents or their grandparents, which largely attributes to their impacted mental health. So this study aimed to illuminate both of these issues and shine light on them and reflect the broader societal implications that it can have when we address these issues. Here are a few resources if you or anyone you know is struggling to overcome any trauma. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation. It's up to you to break generational trauma. Here are my resources.